What's up everybody, we are back again, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of a follow-up on the video that I did on 83hades, because almost immediately after I dropped the video on Instagram promoting it, he ended up responding on his story, and I'm talking like 2 seconds after I posted it, he ended up responding. And let me tell you, the fallout to this was actually pretty interesting, with a lot of people from the community getting involved, some people defending him, some people coming out against him, some people saying that he needs help and he's a drug addict and we should feel bad for him, some people licking the sweat off his balls, and some people watching the entire thing go down and just kind of laughing from the sidelines. So we have a whole bunch of different responses, but first we're going to read what 83hades had to say. So like 5 seconds after I posted my video on Instagram, he ended up responding on his story because he was already following me and already waiting for the video to drop. Oh, so I apologize in advance, it's going to be really hard to read because he never uses commas whatsoever. Bro looks like he went to an Ivy League school, but apparently he doesn't have enough education to be able to actually spell right or put commas, have proper grammar. But honestly, what do you expect from a fenthead? Lil Mabu really ain't got shit on him, I'm telling you, the hardest white rapper alive. But anyways, let's get into it. Womp womp, you fat and ugly, get your story straight. If you're gonna speak, I was in jail, retard, fuck you. Want me to hate these motherfuckers? I swear to God. Focus on the motherfuckers talking to these kids and doing actual shit. Leave me alone, weirdo. Dropped a whole video about dark tones when mans did nothing wrong. I can't imagine trying to build a career off of cancel culture. I'm a grown-ass man. Alright, first of all, yeah, I'm fat. You got me. Oh my god, I'm fat. Every time somebody responds to me, they say the same thing. If I was a drug addict like you, I'd be skinny as hell too. It's not that hard to lose weight when you don't have any money and you're a drug addict. Next up, he said he was in jail. Okay, what does that mean? Are you trying to say that you were in jail during the time that you were scamming people? If so, how were you messaging people? Did you go to jail afterwards? Not really sure what you're trying to say. Could you maybe put together a coherent thought to rebut some of the stuff I'm saying in the video? But he doesn't have any time for that, because immediately afterwards he has to say that I have to focus on people touching kids, not on him. And I've done videos on people touching kids. I mean, the most popular videos on this channel are about Zillakami, who was touching kids. I'm not even going to get into that because that's a brain dead argument. You're basically saying you can do whatever you want as long as you don't touch kids. I mean, most people don't touch kids. It's really not that great of an accomplishment, so I'm not sure why you're trying to make that argument. After that, he then makes the brilliant move to try to defend Dark Tone, somebody who was already proven to be a scammer and basically ousted by the entire community, and you don't have any evidence to say that he did nothing wrong, but of course you're going to defend him because he's your homie. And then finally he ends it off by saying, I'm trying to build an entire career off of cancel culture. First of all, I already have another channel that's doing very well that doesn't expose people, and second of all, I'm not trying to cancel you. It's kind of funny how these underground rappers continue to make the same argument that Puya was making over 7 years ago, saying that everybody was trying to cancel him and the only reason that his career was getting derailed was because people were becoming too PC. Pull your head out of the political rabbit hole for a minute and realize that all I'm doing is calling you out for scummy actions. I'm not canceling you. I couldn't even cancel you if I wanted to because you're not signed to a big label, you don't have any big brand deals, so there's nothing to get canceled. Do you guys remember back in the day when a rapper would get attacked by somebody else and they would respond with a diss track, and then after that continue to go back and forth because that's kind of what the spirit of hip-hop was? But nowadays these so-called underground rappers get called out and immediately start crying on Instagram, but I'm the one who's too soft. I'm the one who's trying to cancel you. Okay. And I know the argument against that is that he wouldn't make a diss track on me because that would give me too much attention, and he doesn't want to give me clout because after all, he's one of the most popping rappers in the entire world, so if he talked about me, I would suddenly get blown up into the mainstream. But after that story, he immediately jumped into the comment section, posting lit as which honestly I kind of respect. At least he's engaging and not running away. Gotta give it to him. He ended up responding to almost every single comment on the post, but the minute that Susslord ended up jumping into the comments and trying to call him out, he immediately stopped commenting and blocked Susslord because after all, he doesn't want to give that money back. And that probably would have been it for his response. Not really much of a response whatsoever, just calling me out, having a bit of a temper tantrum, and then fading off into the night to do a little bit more fent. But apparently he was so much in his feelings that he ended up responding to a mutual named Gnarly Boy Eternal and sending him paragraphs on paragraphs on paragraphs, which is pretty ironic considering the fact that he said to Susslord that he wasn't going to read a book, but he's writing an entire novel to Gnarly Boy Eternal. But there's a lot to read here. There's no commas once again, so let's not waste any more time. Let's read out this entire intelligent and very well thought through response from the legend himself, 83hades. So this conversation starts off by Gnarly Boy saying, hey, I'm not on anybody's side, okay? That being said, if you have wrong people, you got to make it up to them, because this scene is is dying and I don't see it getting better anytime soon. We need to rebuild. And blessed be to him, because that's probably the only time during this entire conversation we're actually going to get a couple commas. After that, it's going to be nothing but word vomit coming from 83hades. For sure, man, respect the honesty. I've sent out literally hundreds of feats, and what he doesn't tell you is that I was in jail facing 5 to 10 years, and when I got out, I aspirated my lungs, went septic, and lost oxygen to my brain, died, and got brought back in a coma in the ICU on a ventilator. I was in there for months. Of course people had shit waiting, and I sent most of them out except for the people who were yelling at me in DMs, threatening me and my girls, saying awful racist and prejudiced things, which I don't fuck with. And they always say keep the money, then say it's a scam at the end of the day. I'd be going out looking to scam people. He's just fear-mongering, trying to make a quick buck off of cancel culture. I can't control if I'm not able to make music or out to send refunds. That's the business, dude. He did the exact same thing to Dark Tones. It's lame as fuck, and motherfuckers trying to treat it like gospel. I just try to keep shit positive and show love. There is so much wrong with that one paragraph that I almost want to break it down point by point, because first of all, we actually got a response from 83hades, not a public one, but he's now telling us why he couldn't send features out. He was supposedly in prison, but if you remember the conversation he had with Susslord, he ended it off by saying suck my dick. So at that point you were free, either that or you had a phone in prison, which I don't assume that you did, and then you actively told him to suck your dick and that you weren't going to give him the features. So that doesn't have anything to do with being in the hospital, being in prison. But I guess his argument would be that Susslord actually ended up deleting messages to make 83hades look worse, which doesn't really make a lot of sense because there wasn't a lot of messages between you and him in the first place. It was mostly him talking to you and you not responding. But yeah, I mean, Susslord must have been being racist to you because after all, he's white and you're white as well. Like, what was he doing? Calling you a cracker? How is he being racist to you? We actually have a new rule in the underground now. If somebody says something mean to you after you scam them, you no longer have to give them their money back. That's how it works now, guys. Can you believe it? And this Dark Tones argument is the most brain dead thing I've heard you say so far. I really don't know why you're trying to die on the hill of defending a scammer when you yourself are being accused of being a scammer. Like, you're being accused of the exact same thing that he is, so your word really doesn't mean anything to defend him, and it only makes you look more guilty by association. The entire community said Dark Tones was scamming people for years. Oh, it's cancel culture. He's trying to take everybody down, guys. If he keeps going, there's not going to be anybody left, and we're not going to be able to make scummy money off of taking it from our fans. Oh no, that's terrible. Me and Dark Tones forever, baby. And then finally, this is how you know that he's lying, because he takes the terrible argument from Dark Tones with him saying that Devlin said he could keep the money, so he was allowed to keep the money, even though we already know Devlin said that because he was frustrated and you already had scammed him at that point. And 83 is trying to take that argument to the next level by saying that basically everybody that messages him about a feature, sends him the money, instantly calls him a cracker, and then says, you know what, you can keep the money, man, it's okay, you don't have to actually give me the service that I paid for. But then later, those same people that told him that he could keep the money end up teaming up with me, and they say, haha, we're gonna take down that cracker 83hades, and we're all gonna lie and say that he scammed us. Like, does this sound like a meth-induced psychosis? Because that's definitely what's going on right here. But anyways, let's continue on because there's a lot more to read. He goes on to say, he's not behind the scenes. He's not the one messaging some of these nut jobs, having to deal with them. I raised money for my case and sold mad songs. Nobody was scammed. Well, that's awesome, 83. I'm glad that your entire fan base was able to pull together and get you enough money to get you out on bail and give you a second chance at life. It's too bad you then took that money and decided to continue to do drugs and then overdosed with it. Like, don't get me wrong, I understand drug addiction, but how bad can you feel for a guy like this who ends up getting a second chance and then immediately makes his life worse by going back to drugs? I mean, he was in prison, he probably got sober when he was in prison, and then he actively decided to go back to drugs. Also, nobody was scammed. Susslord was scammed and you blocked him. Maybe you could actively describe why you decided to scam him, or maybe call him out for supposedly plotting against you. Maybe have some reason. You got to talk about that one specific case, 83. That's what we all care about here. There's a reason his entire page is just this underground rapper did this wrong, and I'm a perfectly good person. It's cringe, lol. This shit is not important, and I don't consider myself part of this whack-ass scene, nor do I want to rebuild it. It has too many weirdos. I love the people that support me, and that's it. This quote-unquote scene can be for everybody else. And you know what? I actually do agree with him on that. There is a lot of weirdos in the underground scene, but if you don't want to be part of the underground scene, stop selling features, stop being a part of it, and stop using it to fund your entire junkie lifestyle. You're making the same argument as Zillakami. I don't care about this scene. I don't care about the people in it. I only care about my real supporters, my real fans, the people who actually give me money. Those are the only people who are important. Gnarly Boy then responds by saying, I remember you saying that shit about you in the hospital on your story a while back. But I don't know if that's true that nobody was scammed. It's not that I don't believe you, it's just I have to take in both sides of the story. I'm not against you or twisted. I'm more skeptical now because I've been talking to you for over a year and the info that's out right now is news to me. I'm still trying to process it and take it in. Yeah, gee, that's life. Shit happens. Some people are just losers, how it is. I can't anticipate going to jail or dying, and I'm pretty open about everything. Making the exact same excuse, still not talking about the actual person that he scammed. Okay, let's continue on. The dude still follows me and was asking for an interview. He's fake as fuck, just wants clout. Dude's a fat ass weirdo. Now 83, I know that you're so high every day of your life that everything blends together. You can't feel the passage of time. You don't know if you're 21 or 47. You don't know if you were raised in Kentucky or the Bronx. You're raised in Kentucky. And you're just so popular and famous that you can't possibly keep track of all your messages, but you got to keep in mind that I asked you about that interview over a year ago. People kept hyping you up and saying, you know what, 83hades is a really important member of the trap metal scene. He's kind of fallen off recently, but if you make a video on him, you could bring him back to prevalence. So I'm like, okay, I'll look up some information. Couldn't find any information on you because you don't like to talk, because people would call you out for being a scammer. I'm like, all right, we can do an interview. That way I can get the information from the source, put together a video, boom, bang, pow, everything's awesome. But you didn't want to do it. That's fine. I move on for a year of my life. And then later on, I realized that you're a scammer and make the video. All these guys always say that I'm trying to clout chase them, but if I was actually trying to chase clout, then I would try to get in good with you, become friends, and then get your fan base to like me. But luckily for me, you don't really have a fan base anymore, considering the fact that you're always a clone of Slim Jesus who had a little moment in the rap game and completely messed it up by being a drug addict. So guess it works out for me. But after all, you don't care about the scene, so that doesn't bother you. It's definitely not eating away at you every single day of your life, and that's why you're so upset that I made this video that you have to lash out in this way. That would never be you, right? You're too cool for that, 83hades. Fair warning, guys, after this point, it gets a little bit weird, it gets a little bit sussy, so if you're not up for that, then leave now, but let's get into it. If I ever saw that man, I would violate him and whoever with him. I really hope he goes to underground shows, deadass about to start stalking that motherfucker till I up the score on his ass in 4K. Dude making videos about all my friends, and I know what they did because I'm behind the scenes. He a full-blown clown. You know what they say about the company you keep. Gnarly Boy then responds, you know, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm just glad you still with us, gang. No matter what you're going through, there are people that respect you and want you here. Gnarly Boy is actually a very talented therapist, I have to say. This guy's tweaking out and he's like, you know what, fam, it's okay. Just put your head down, relax, it's okay. That man can't hurt you anymore. He can't hurt you anymore. Show me where he touched you. But unfortunately, I'm going to be the one going to Gnarly Boy soon because apparently 83 really wants to touch me. 83 then goes on to show all the features that he sent out that month. Maybe you could slide one of those to Sus Lord and fix this entire situation. But anyways, I mean, bruh, this is just from this month. And you're right, it actually brought me followers and I got mad DMs praising me. So I take it as a win. And I'll take it as another win when I film man with his pants down. Who's clout chasing who here? You got followers from the situation? I lost followers, dude, so I don't know what you're talking about. Apparently I'm giving you clout, you little clout chasing monkey. Hey man, I'm happy for you. You're obviously successful, 83. It's okay, yeah, you're very successful, little boy. It's okay, you don't gotta get mad, just calm down. It's a safe space here. Yeah, I fell off for a bit after not posting for a year from all the legal issues, but I just like making motherfuckers happy, chopping it up with them and shit, making music. I don't really care about numbers or the money or none. I don't even monetize my shit. I just like making it for real. Well, I can't say I never cared about the money. It came in handy during my trial. That's why I sold so many songs and shit. Lawyer fees, rough as a grandma's pussy. Dude, you're weird as hell. If you don't care about the money, why do you charge for features? Because you're going to be making guap off the music stuff anyways. And nah, I only charge for feats to people who ask. Otherwise, I'd be doing a million free songs and it costs money to go to the stew. And I don't monetize my shit, so I won't make it back, but I do sometimes. I just gave out a free one 3 weeks ago to a fan who hit me up and said they were going to kill themselves. I promised if he gave his life a chance, I'd work for free. And I know at this point, a lot of people are going to start to feel bad for 83. He's really playing it up. He's had a hard life and he's such a good guy that he helps out his fans when they're in a dire crisis. But at the same time, if you're only helping them out to brag about it later, is it really a good action? That's up for you guys to decide. But anyways, he goes on to say, and I signed a deal for 100K like 2 years ago, so I don't make any money from plays, but I don't make bank like you think. I really don't make shit from music besides a couple hundred every other month from a feature and open. I make way more doing other shit. Music just makes me happy. And before you guys start salivating at the mouth and saying, oh my god, 83hades made 100K off of his music, I definitely need to get in good with him because then maybe I'll blow up and make that type of money. He's lying. I talked to Kill Stacy and he told me that he signed to the same record deal as another artist that he knew and that guy only got 20K, so 83hades most likely only got 20K as well. He sold his entire musical catalog and any money that he could make off of it in the future from streaming numbers, from anything. He sold all of that for 20K, and I mean, this guy was definitely making some pretty decent money off of his music. He had millions of streams and he threw it all away for a quick hit of $20,000 that he most likely spent all on drugs. And honestly, honestly, you do kind of got to feel bad for him for this, even though it's completely self-inflicted. He threw away everything that he built up over the course of years for a little bit of money that didn't get him anywhere in the long run. And that's why he's lashing out at me so hard, because deep down he knows that he threw his entire career away and he can't fix it. And at this point, he's already too far gone into his addiction to try to get a real job or contribute to society in any meaningful factor. So he's going to continue to coast along, trying to sell features, get any little bit of money that he can to hopefully fund his lifestyle. But as time goes on, he's going to find less and less people who are going to want to buy anything from him. Most of the people who are fans of him are probably pretty young kids, and as they grow up, they're going to forget about him. His moment in the spotlight's going to fade away, and he's going to have no more means of making money. Gnarly Boy goes on to say, I don't make shit for music. I don't have that kind of exposure. I think there are 350 million people in America. If 5% of them listen to my music, they'd fuck with me. I'm not great, but I'm not ass either. I know people still fuck with you, gang. Nah, I'm sure your shit is lit, man. I'm pretty sure I've heard it before. And we in the same boat then. We not making shit for music. I'm surprised you think I made money from it, for real. I definitely used to, but not anymore with my deal. And I stopped monetizing my shit, so others can post it and make money from it without worrying about copyright. This guy is just straight up lying. You're not making any money off of your music because you sold it all to a record label. If I tried to put your song and music video up on my channel right now, it would get taken down for copyright. There's still copyright on it. Just because you're not making any money doesn't mean that somebody else isn't. Shit, I appreciate it for real. I hope this all dies out for you. I haven't got a single ounce of hate, gang. In fact, I gained 18 followers from it, and there's nothing to really die out, laugh my ass off. If anything, it helped me out pretty much. Everybody knows what's up. The only DMs I got about it were people shitting on him, saying he's a clout chaser who's trying to buy more food. But thanks anyways, I appreciate it. And I know there was a lot of arguments on the last video that by me making that, I was only giving him more exposure. And honestly, I don't really care if I give him more exposure. He's not making any money off his streams, so no matter how much attention he gets, he's not going to make money off of that. The important part is that people become aware of the fact that he's a scammer, so they'll think twice about giving him money. Yes, there are going to be some dumb kids who are still going to give him money no matter what. Doesn't really matter. They'll grow up eventually and realize that they wasted their money on a junkie, but it helps the actually grown people stay away from him and not give him any sum of money. And if you're saying that won't work, well, it has worked in the past, because I made a video on It's Okay to Cry, and at that point he was making a lot of money off of scamming people, but after I made the video, he's pretty well toast. Or have you guys wondered what's been going on with Jumix in the last little bit? Because he's actually gone completely broke and is now fighting with people on TikTok over the fact that he is broke, and he's also trying to sell mixing and mastering services for $350 on his story, and nobody's buying it. I give these guys a little bit of short-term attention, but after I stop talking about them, pretty well everybody forgets about them again. Dude, eventually we all in the same scene. I'm sure he'll be at a show, a mat or something, and we can just handle shit like grown men. It ain't nothing for real. We all just people. Bro, just hop on a call with bro, but I don't know his work schedule, but he's a respectful person in person. But I appreciate your point of view, but dude is a grown man talking about stupid shit. There's bigger fish to fry. Nah, he can suck my dick. We fighting regardless. Yes, sir, I understand your frustration with bro, but what you gotta understand is that he's a reporter. Like, I know you can handle that. He ain't a reporter, laugh my ass off. All the videos he makes are just him bashing people in the underground that did nothing wrong. He takes the side of whoever and doesn't even hit the other person up for their side. And once again, I agree. I'm not a reporter. Second of all, I don't just bash people in the underground that did nothing wrong. They did something wrong. You just don't want to believe it. And third of all, there's no reason to go to people like you and Undead Poppy, because all you're gonna do is sit there and be like, my life is so bad. I wanted to be a rapper and then I started doing drugs and now everything is awful. Feel bad for me. Don't make the video on me. That's all you guys are gonna do is guilt trip me. He a bitch and he's gonna get his ass beat whenever I see him for sure. He ain't even make me mad. I just want to film him getting his pants pulled down and violate him while he's naked on the ground catching molly whoops at the show. Okay, so in the past I always believed that being violated by a rapper meant that they were just gonna beat me up, but apparently being violated actually means what I thought it meant, because apparently he wants to pull my pants down and then pull my cock out, maybe give it a little kiss, a little suck. Brother, that is weird. That's all I gotta say. That's very weird. What kind of reporter lies in these stories and takes the story from a biased individual that obviously ain't gonna like the person they allege and did something? I'm gonna see dude eventually. Most of the left-wing media makes shit up, but yeah, he probably should have spoken with you first. I see why that would have upset you. I agree with the media shit, but zero chance I hop in a call with Fatty and crash down to China and cause an earthquake. We just gonna jump him till he croak and strip him till he dance like an OnlyFans girl. Bro, is this how they get down in Kentucky? You wanna beat me up and take my clothes off? Like, dude, what type of weird fetish is this? At first I thought he was calling me fat because he was trying to diss me, but now I think he's calling me fat because he's actually attracted to me. I'm gonna make a video of my own of his fat body on the ground naked at a show, but yeah, I think he should have hit me up first. He follows me and DMs me praising me, asking for an interview to make a video, talking shit, and still watches my story and follows me. Just clown energy, for real. I just fuck with the real shit. I don't like the whole stab you behind your back for a quick buck shit. Once I get my licks in, I'll be content and I'll drop it. 83, if you want to start an OnlyFans with me, you could have simply asked. You don't have to go to an underage kid and start talking about how you want to strip me down and pull my cock out and do videos. I mean, if you want to set up a business agreement, we can do that. And if you want to ask me out on a date, well, you can do that too. And honestly, after that, there's no reason to keep reading the messages, because after that, he just keeps going on about how he wants to beat me up, how he wants to see me naked, how he wants to take me out on a date, how he wants to see my fat body jiggle for him and how much it would turn him on. So I don't want to read that all out. If you guys really want me to, I guess get this video to like 300 likes or something and then I'll read it out. But honestly, it's just erotic fan fiction from 83hades. Dude definitely has some repressed sexual urges deep within him, and I think he needs to get those out in therapy. He could talk to me and King about it, and in fact, he said that he might talk to me and King about it, but I just can't be a meanie weenie to him. I mean, honestly, I guess if he was down for that, I'd be down for that as well. I mean, he definitely needs the exposure and clout, so I couldn't see why he wouldn't do it, but at the same time, I mean, he needs some therapy, so me and King gotta be nice to him. And you never know, maybe by the end of it, we can get all his trauma out, we can put him in a better place, get him off drugs, and he might even come out of the closet too. That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? The redemption of 83hades. But in all honesty, dude is a drug addict, so don't mess with him too much. Don't go out of your way to troll him. He is kind of going through something, but at the same time, he's put himself in that situation, so I don't feel that bad for him. Everybody goes through trauma. Everybody at some point has a rough point in their life. It doesn't mean they have to go out of their way to scam people or take people's money or threaten to molest them. And honestly, if you feel a certain type of way about me giving all this attention to a drug addict, then you need to keep the same energy and not give him any further money, because by giving him money for features, all you're doing is furthering his lifestyle, letting him fall deeper into his drug addiction, and putting off the fact that he has to grow up and be an actual man. But let's be honest, you guys don't actually care. You're only using that as an excuse to try to get him out of any situation he might find himself in because you're a fan and you want to see him do well. And if you actually want to see him do well, then he has to clean himself up and get out of that situation. Stop enabling him. And with that said, blessed be to the underground and all the man children that inhabit it, and I will see you in the next one when I start clout chasing the next artist. Subscribe to the channel, and besides that, thanks for watching. Peace out.